Welcome to episode 3 of my walkthrough for Codebane. In this episode, we are going to uncover the entire map of Sunken City. We're also going to get all of the golden nectars for Sunken City, and we're going to get the rejuvenation beads and find all of the minions. So that's what's going down in this episode. We're going to be unlocking the mistles too. So what we're not going to be doing is we're not going to be getting into too much combat in this episode. This is mostly going to be like a prep for like getting Sunken City just ready to kind of like get all the buffs and knock it out. And also, of course, we're going to be getting Pathos as we go around. So I'm going to attempt to timestamp the different things that we find in the episode. There's a monkey right there, and that monkey is... He's not too hard to beat, but he's not like necessary to fight. So we're just going to cut to the right when we get to the monkey, and we're going to head up these stairs. And there will be an item up here to the right, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Oh, so this ability is one of my favorite abilities in the game. We already saw it on a previous weapon, but now we have it where we can put it on any weapon we want. I always have to remind myself, okay, how to summon the motorcycles. RB to the right. Cool cutscene right there as you're kind of entering the first, you know, open world area of the game. So this is where the game, you know, properly becomes open world and you're, you know, able to just kind of do whatever you want. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is grab the mistle in front of the clock tower first. And now we're going to open our map. And when we open our map, we're going to see all of these little purples around the area. The first one we're going to uncover is going to be right here, because we're going to follow this road and we're going to get some mistles, we're going to get a minion, we're going to get a rejuvenation bead, we're going to unlock a couple of dungeons, and then we're going to teleport back here to get that one that's just a little bit closer. So we'll just kind of knock stuff out like in a path as we go through. And then of course, once we uncover the map, that's when we'll, you know, look to where the golden nectars are and all that. So when you go down this road, the first thing you're going to see is the arcade ruins. And this is the first, like objective, like dungeon area in the Sunken City. Now we're just going to jump back down on our motorcycle and we're going to keep heading down the same street. And out here, you can already see that there's my beam. And then over to our right, you'll see a sign that says Golden Fort or Gold Fort. That's how you kind of know where you are. So the beam is, you know, where I put the pin down, and that is going to be where the map, I call them map goblins, but, you know, map tree, map whatever you want to call it. They're not always just like static little things on the ground. Sometimes they're enemies. It's not very often, but sometimes. Okay, so now that we have that map uncovered, we can look around and we can see, okay, we have a Pathos right here. We have a rejuvenation bead right here. We have a minion right here. And then going back here, we actually have a golden nectar back there. So what we're going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this golden nectar. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the left and I'm going to unlock this mistle right here so we can just teleport right back to it. So this area is called the, I want to say Checkpoint Ruins. Checkpoint Ruins. And so this is just like a little area with a couple items to pick up in it. Nothing major, but it does have a mistle there, which is a nice, you know, it's nice to like come and, it's a nice central area on this side of the map to kind of teleport back to get to different areas, specifically like the rejuvenation bead and the minion. Okay, so to get this one, we just need to get up there. So just looping around here, and we are at our first golden nectar in the Sunken City. So there is an enemy here, I guess. And I knew that this enemy was going to be easy to stagger with this weapon just because he didn't have any armor on or anything. And so we talked about in the last episode, like these rune blades are really good at, I guess I shouldn't use the word stagger, because stagger is when you can get a special drain attack on an enemy, like when their body turns red, but kind of a, I call it like setting them off balance, yeah. You know, where they can't, they get interrupted in their attacks. And normally on those enemies with rune blades, it takes, you know, two little hits. Okay, now we're at our first minion, Jadwiga Minion, here in Sunken City. Just to show you on the map, it's directly kind of south of, or, you know, not directly south, but, you know, southwest of the Checkpoint Ruins. And then we just kind of headed west from the last golden nectar we were on. Welcome. So all the minions are always good to get because they have unique weapons. So I'm going to always come back to the minions later when you have a little bit of haze to buy up their entire stock. And now what we're going to do, instead of heading back up to the checkpoint ruins, we're going to head over here to the right. And in this area, there's a couple of different items we can get, but the thing that we're really going for here is the rejuvenation bead. So you're just kind of following the coast right here, and you're just going to follow the water basically all around. And I do believe this is a no motorcycle area, so it will kick me off of it in a second. Okay, yeah, these big guys always take like forever to charge up their attacks, so I could have just been attacking them that whole time. Anyways, you kind of got to watch out to not fall into the ocean here, but I'm pretty sure that is pretty far over there. So this episode is just kind of like setting up Sunken City, so I'm not going to be gathering every single, I guess it's not a no motorcycle area. We're not going to be gathering every single... Yep, there it is. Okay. My bad. So I'm going to be redoing that part real fast. God, I knew that was a ledge too. I was like, I should check the map. And I was like, no, it's not. Okay. So from the Mistle, we're just heading south. And then we're just looping to the left when we see that gas station where the minion was. Okay, so this guy will be back right here. And I'm just going to avoid him since we just fought him. I say I'm going to avoid him, and then am I actually going to avoid him? I don't know how much haze I have, but I guess I'll go pick it up just for fun.
Good thing you found that.
999 haze. Not enough to worry about, but it's a fun number. So over here, you're going to have a couple of bigger enemies that you do not need to fight right now. Again, we're just coming in here for this blood bead. So if you want to... Or this cat rejuvenation, blood bead, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and fight this guy. But you do not have to fight this guy. Make sure I have my adrenaline up. So the biggest thing about this game is, just like most Souls-like, the enemies aren't necessarily hard to beat as long as you don't get greedy. You know, that's the big thing. Is whenever you get greedy, you know, that's when you get messed up. So with these rune blades have a built-in ability where I can just kind of throw them at the enemy and they kind of hover around. So there is some more stuff to get back here, but none of it is essential for what we're doing right now, which is just kind of getting the map set up. So I'm going to go ahead and travel back to the checkpoint ruins. And there are a couple items to grab around here. You know, any purple items, you always want to make sure you get them. And of course, any glowing gold items, you want to make sure you get them. We did pass a glowing gold item earlier, at least 2 of them, but we will be getting those probably not in this episode, but very soon. I really like to, so from the checkpoint ruins, what we're going to do next is we're just going to head right here to the ENED Industries. Okay, and there's an elevator that we're going to summon up here. And I have an XP farm video where this, you know, this is the XP farm. So what we're going to do in here, I'm going to show you how you can just run in and get the Pathos and get out, because we're trying to do the entire map. So I don't want to spend like a bunch of time clearing the dungeon, because we're going to come back and like clear the dungeons. You know, we're going to do Arcade Ruins, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to teleport to the next dungeon. So we're going to do them all in a series. You know, but feel free to like just dismount an underground facility. Feel free to just clear it. It's not a very big dungeon. It's not very hard. It looks kind of scary just because there's a lot of lightning, like electricity on the ground. But the electricity barely does anything to you. So it is not that big a deal. So just for fun, I think I probably have enough to level up. Nope. Okay, here we go. So what we're doing in here is we're just running through to get the Pathos. So there's an enemy to our left right there. So you see how I'm just kind of ignoring the electricity. It's not that big a deal. But I mean, I wouldn't like, if you were actually trying to clear this place, I wouldn't like jump into it. So right here, what you can do is you can just grab this Pathos, and as you're grabbing it, you'll see you're immune to damage. And I'm not even going to grab that purple because I'm going to clear this whole dungeon later. So that Pathos gives us a buff. Okay, so the walls obviously actually stun you, which is worse. So now I'm just running back out of the dungeon. The first time I came through here, I didn't touch the electricity at all. And I'm actually not trying to stand in it that much. I just couldn't get out of it. So we're just running back out. And what we're going to do is we're going to teleport back to the checkpoint ruins. And we are going to continue clearing the map. So now we have our first Pathos on the Sunken Ruins. So that's really good. And this first Pathos gives us max HP and willpower. So anytime you want to have that on at all times, I just turned it off for a second. You can turn them on and off. I think turning them off is just kind of like a difficulty thing, you know? So now what we're going to do, like I said earlier, we are going to hit up this map marker right here. And how we're going to do that is we're going to teleport back to Jose's outpost. And now, instead of going down that street, we're just going to turn immediately left. And this isn't a map marker that I particularly remember very well. This was the very first map marker in Sunken City I originally uncovered. I think there are a couple enemies around it, but nothing major. There's definitely a blood bead over here with enemies around it, I want to say. So there are no enemies around the... Oh, no, there's one right there that I hit him with my bike. So these guys, again, they don't have armor on. They're kind of easy to just kind of beat up with these rune blades. If you don't have a weapon that staggers as much, like if you're using dual blades that don't have a lot of... I keep saying stagger. Obviously, I did stagger that guy. Okay, so now from here, you can see there's nothing really uncovered in this area. But what we're going to do... So up here is actually a map marker that you can unlock right now, but it's in the 3rd zone. So we're not going to do that. There is a golden nectar right here, so we're going to get that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the south of the city, and we're going to get this map marker. And how we're going to do that is you're actually going to have to ride west and ride all the way around here. So there's a couple things we're going to get as we're going through there. But first things first, just jumping on my motorcycle. And I think doing this is just a good way of setting your character up to be a little bit stronger as you're completing the missions throughout this area. And since this walkthrough's about like beating the game and not necessarily about making it the hardest it can possibly be, you know, we're going to do some of that prep to kind of make sure that we have a good time going throughout it. I have too many map markers. Oh, no, I don't.
No, of course I wasn't.
So we're going to A. You know what? To get to A, let's just teleport back to Oh, I got an enemy on me. Okay, I just mastered her bloodline. Very nice. So she will give me her next bloodline.
Our time in battle has further fortified the bonds of our blood.
So from the front of Jose's outpost, you just can kind of go to the left or right and just ride all the way down behind the building. And this golden nectar is actually going to be on the level below us.
I grant you more of my power. May it be of
Did I
some
equip
use
the
to
next
you.
level blood code? I think I did. Okay, so here we go. We're out behind Jose's outpost, and we just got our next golden nectar.
Stimulates regenerative abilities.
So now there's kind of two different ways you can go. We're going to go south first, but you could just go north, get this one, and there's another rejuvenation bead right there. And then our third rejuvenation bead is going to be over here. So this one to get to, I'll probably have to look at my map a couple times because you have to like follow the roads. I'm having more stuttering right now than I've ever had playing this game. To the point where I might need to take some time to reset just to... Yeah, this right here isn't looking... Okay, I know where we are. We're going to take this tunnel, and we're going to find a minion on the other side of this, and we're also going to find the hot springs. So, here's a little purple item that we can get real quick as we're driving through. Uncanny stones are always important. We've talked about those quite a bit, but they upgrade your weapon shop. And then right outside of this cave that I just came through, we can grab this mistle.
Let's rest up.
We're not going to sit at the hot springs yet or talk to Jadwiga's Minion, only because I want to show this location. Never mind, it's already on the map. So what I did right there was I was at this golden nectar, and I just kind of followed this road down and took it through a tunnel, which came out right here. Now we have a hot springs right here, and we have a Jadwiga Minion up on this cliff. So first things first, let's hit that hot springs. And hot springs unlock your they unlock recipes. Jesus. So you can just jump in. I've seen a lot of people do like photo mode stuff in there. I have not spent any time on photo mode. Okay, let's just hit a lot of buttons. I tried to summon my motorcycle, it didn't, and then I hit other buttons that made me do all the other stuff. Okay, so right up on top of this hill is Jadwiga's Minion.
I'll be right there.
Welcome.
So in here, you can get Swift Blades, which is a pretty good ability. There's also 2 more defensive forma. So you've got the Blood-Soaked Shields, and those surround you everywhere, so it's like 360 blocking. And then you've got a dodge that you can do. So I'll go ahead and buy the dodge. I'll come back later and buy everything when I get some money. And then there are a couple little items around here to get. I don't think there's anything like too essential. But we'll go ahead and check this house out. So we got a purple in this boathouse. Tinder Crimson Stone 3, very nice. And then down by the shore where the mistle was, there's a couple more things to check out. So now where we're going to head is we are going to head to... So first off, I'm going to get rid of this pen. So now we're going to head down here and around. Now, if you had headed this way, you're going to run into a mistle and gates are going to be blocked off. So you actually can't get there from there. But before we head to the map menu, coming right out of Jadwiga's Minion, we're going to go up this side of the cliff to get our next Pathos and a purple item. So just again on the map, you're kind of going around this cliff to get this Pathos. So there's a helicopter right here that has some items on it. There's a purple over here. And then there's a couple little creepy trees that you can pick stuff up at. It is not a purple, it's actually a forma. Perfect, let's see what we get. Mad Turbulence, nice. So that is I want to say that's a Halbert's skill. Oh, come on, turn around. Okay, there we go. And there's our Pathos right in front of us. One of my favorite things to do with the motorcycle is to just jump off these cliffs and kind of glide over to different areas from afar. That's always fun. So restorative offering health boost. Nice. So we get more health when we're in this map. I think that's what it said. It might have said health regeneration, but I'm pretty sure it said health boost. Using your motorcycle to glide is actually a little bit trickier than it seems. Because whenever you hit your motorcycle to, so now we just came out of where that Pathos was and we turned left and there's going to be a couple items up here to grab. If you're playing for the first time and you want to grab all these blue items, feel free. I don't think they're essential to grab, but you know, you can. So right here to our left, is going to be a forma that you can grab while you're running through here. And I hate these bell people. They're pretty tough to beat. But anyways, we got our forma, and we are going to die because I cannot hit my buttons properly.
Sorry for taking so long.
Okay. So she gave me a debuff that actually made it where I couldn't heal. So that gave me a little bit of a scare right there.
Preventing us from mapping the topography.
So we're just going to continue to the horror.
Is it well?
I actually had no idea she'd be able to hit me from that far. I actually don't think that's intended. Okay, so now that we've unlocked this horror, we can see that we have a couple of different things here. So there's a dungeon right here that we can't get into right now. That comes later. And then we have 2 golden nectar seeds. This golden nectar seed you cannot get right now. That's going to come later. So just leave this alone. That comes in a dungeon towards the end of this area. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to grab this this golden nectar. And there is also a mistle right here. But it's behind a locked gate, so we're not going to be able to grab it right now. And there's another Jadwiga Minion right here. And a little bell person again. So just to kind of show you the map one more time, the first place we're going is kind of over here, and then we're going to cross over to get the other thing. And of course we have another bell person here. Okay, so here we go.
They've given up pursuit.
Okay, give me 1 minute. I am going to try to fix my performance issues. Okay, I believe that should have fixed everything. Okay, so we are right here on the map. So if you want to see, that's where we are now. And here is a Jadwiga Minion. And so he has the special customer token 1, which allows us to buy Heart Revenant 1s at Jadwiga's shop at the general store. So that's really important. So this item right here, it enhances Forma enchant, or like the Forma enchantment. It's this thing. I call them offensive Formas. So these things right here. You don't get very many of those early on, but they are there. Now down here is another bell person, but there's also that Forma right there. So we're just going to run past this person. We're going to grab the Forma, and I'm going to turn right back around. Oh my god, I hit the wrong side. Luckily, it's not a huge whoop if we die here, which we won't. So we are out of there. And now we are heading to the marker on top of the golden nectar over here. These bell people, they're just very time consuming to kill right now. And you don't have a lot of like ranged options to kind of hit them where you can actually damage them very well. And hitting them on their butts, like the bottoms, just don't do as much damage as hitting them on their faces. So here's our golden nectar that we just picked up. And we are going to get out of here. So, yeah, I hate these bell people. Hate them so much. So we just need to get out of combat, and then we will mark out where we're going next. Okay, perfect. So there is a waypoint right here that I want to pick up. And then we need to grab this Pathos, this golden nectar, this rejuvenation bead, and this Pathos. Okay, that is my pin limit. Okay, so to do that, I'm gonna head. So here's the gate I was talking about that's blocking your way from getting to the Mistle. And that Mistle is in front of a dungeon that you can't do until you go back in time. So don't stress about it. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to find a place to kind of jump over this gate. There we go. And there is the Mistle I'm talking about. So we'll go ahead and grab this Mistle, and then we are going to be teleporting to the back to Jose's. Oh, I was off on my marker, but still, you know, it's like right here. So now we're teleporting back to Jose's outpost, and we will go ahead and put a marker on this Pathos. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to be heading south out of her outpost. The previous times we headed north, kind of north-ish. So I'm going to turn right on this first road, and then I'm going to take a left on this second road. It puts you a little bit closer to where we're going. Now, I did fall off the map the first time I came over here because I went too far. But you should just be able to weave through there and grab this Pathos. So here's the first Pathos. Stamina and mind boost active in Sunken City. Love it. And now we're going to head south, and we're going to grab this golden, little golden nectar. Even though we could also grab that Pathos right away, which we might. Dun, 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 dun.
Watch out.
And there are items in these buildings. Some of these buildings even have Forma in them. But that is not the purpose of what I'm doing right now. I'll go ahead and kill this guy. I broke my motorcycle, which is why I was thrown off of it. So there's like a wall running through here, so you actually need to go through one of the holes in the wall. So this whole wall right here will block you, so I need to head back to this area and actually go through one of the giant holes in the wall. And there are quite a few holes in the wall, but the road is definitely one, so I'm just going to follow the road. And you turn right again. I wish I had a mini map in here. Grab this purple. Then we should be almost at the hole, yeah. There we go. Grab this purple too. There we go, nice. We got a nice hit there. Hit on us, of course. Okay, so now that we're at the Eiffel Tower, which they actually call a pylon, the first thing we're going to grab is this golden seed, or this golden nectar, just laying on the ground right here. And we'll go ahead and kill a couple enemies, because we haven't killed anybody in a while.
You're as dependable as ever.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to head to the Sunken Pylon, and you won't be able to go into the main dungeon, but you will be able to get up to the spot where the Pathos is. Pathos.
We could spend all day like this.
So here we go. We're just running inside here. This first elevator goes to the dungeon, so just go past it. And you have a second elevator right here. We're gonna go ahead and summon the elevator. And then once we start summoning the elevator, it'll take a while, so we're gonna run to the right and run outside and grab the item that's out here. So we got the Hunting Feast Forma, and that's just a buff forma. I think it's a bleed forma. Yeah, temporarily increases the bleed factor of weapon attacks. So any sort of damage buff like that is always good. Bleed in this game, I think it does two things. For one, I think bleed helps increase the amount of ichor you can gain from your drain attacks, but it also is just like a build up. So you build up bleed and then it does a chunk of damage, and that's pretty normal for most Souls games. Okay, so once you get up to the top, there's a nice view over here if you want to go look at it. But if you go the other way, there's a Pathos, which also kind of has a view looking the other way. Gonna hit this beam so it goes away. And now we have this Pathos. So this is max ichor and dexterity boost active in Sunken City. So this is a lot of really good powering up before you even start doing any content. You know, you unlock the whole map. You unlock a lot of dungeons that you can teleport back to. And, you know, you're just like kind of set up for, you know, teleporting around and doing and having buffs when you're going into dungeons. Now, if you want to make the dungeons just a little bit harder on yourself, feel free to not do this. The reason I'm doing this in the guide is because I think it's just for people that need, like, want to walk through. You know, you're looking to make your life a little bit easier, and this does that a lot. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this golden bead that's in that tower right there. And if you look at the map, you might think you need to follow this road to get there, but you actually have to jump off a building to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this pin. Okay, and the building we need to jump off of is this mall right here.
Stay alert.
You'll be coming back to this mall later for a mission for Jose, once you like complete all of her stuff. So if you want to wait until then, you can. So this will be like the first area we properly clear out, just because we actually need. Ooh, I didn't know that other guy was coming. Yeah, I made a mistake. I should have killed this guy before I got in here. Fuck, I'm stuck. Oh, I got out of it. There we go. Okay. Now we're heading into the mall, which I'll show you on the map again where that is.
I couldn't touch you.
So right here is the mall. It's just a little bit north of the golden nectar and the blood bead. There's a couple things to pick up in the mall. Nothing crazy. But you know, hey, it might be good for your build if you're looking for one of the things that's in here. But the blood bead is absolutely essential. Oh, the blades didn't go up the stairs. It might be time for me to upgrade these blades too. Let me get a back attack so I can get some more ichor. He's against the wall now. Oh, but he did get stunned, so I could have. Trying to get that back attack. Okay, they're not gonna let me, I guess. There we go. I mean, that ichor. I took a lot of damage there trying to get that ichor, so now I gotta waste a heal. Wasting a heal. I wish it would stop raining here all the time, and it does eventually. I think the rain kind of comes and goes, but later the city kind of So you could put your flashlight on in here if you wanted to. I don't think it's too dark. And I really just hate turning the flashlight on and off. But you know, you'll be able to see enemies that are maybe hiding in a corner or something. But you'll get aggroed anyways, you'll know. Okay, so right up here there are 2 enemies. There's a gunner in the... Sorry, 3 enemies. And the worst one is that gunner back there, because he's just going to nail you with shots as you're trying to fight the other guy. So I do suggest maybe taking him out first. Or another thing you can do, which I'm going to do right now, is kind of pull these guys down a little bit to where he can't hit you, but also not far enough that he'll start running towards you. And then dodge that. Dodge. Okay, and he should fall off. Yeah, there we go. Go back and pick up this item. So here's the forma. We got ranged impact. So temporarily, yeah. So that's a power upgrade for ranged forma shots and bayonets, but only specific ranged forma shots. Okay, so now we're up on the roof where we need to be for the blood bead, and this jump might take a few tries. But you go ahead and register at this, so you'll respawn right here. And you're trying to fly over here. So let me go ahead and grab that purple real quick so I don't try to grab it when I'm driving. And this is where you got to kind of learn to control your motorcycle. So controlling the motorcycle can be a little bit difficult because when you first use the hover function, you just plummet straight down. You actually have to pull up back on the stick to not plummet. And right here, if you stay up too long, you're going to run out of stamina before you can get across. And then if you're too high when you get all the way across, you're going to fall too far and you'll die that way too. So it is kind of difficult to make this jump, but there we go. I barely made it. I was positive I was going to die at least one time trying to make that jump like I did the original time. But here we got our second gold blood bead from this area. So that's actually 2 more hills. So I'm up to 7 hills so far. And then I always like to do a little loop around just to see if there's anything behind them, because there is sometimes stuff behind them. And now we're just going to take our motorcycle and we're going to drive. Now we're going to drive up this road to get back to where we were. And I'm going to go check on, I think there's a purple up here, but there might not be. But we are actually going to teleport away from here and start heading to the next area. Yeah, there is a purple. Okay, I thought there was. Okay, Ichor supplement, so that'll just give you more Ichor if you're out of it. Okay, so now where we're gonna head is we're going to... trying to think of which way's quicker. I feel like coming here is nice and quick, but... okay, here is our next map, Goblin, for Sunken City, and we're almost completely done with Sunken City. We almost have all the buffs and everything we can get without going inside of a dungeon. So we also need to grab this golden nectar seed right here. And we are pretty much good to go on Sunken City once we're done here. I think I'm going to start over here. I think this is a little bit faster. But this also, you know what? I think this one's a little bit faster. It seems like the one on the far left is quicker, but the roads are kind of weird right there. So that's why I was kind of like, I don't know. So what you want to do here is you want to make sure you stay on the main road. Like this, like the bigger drawn road. You'll see the roads on the map and some will be like bigger than others. So we're heading over to Trident Hills. Trident Hills.
Once more, it seems.
Just stay on this main road, and we're heading to that building right there, which is also known as the power plant in the game. Oh, please don't hit me up on a motorcycle. Okay, you didn't hit me up on a motorcycle. Cool. We'll go ahead and stop and grab that purple for fun. And again, there is stuff to grab in all of these buildings, but it's too much to knock out in one video, and I'd rather like get my map set up when I first get here as opposed to trying to like figure every little thing out. So here we have our blood bead.
Take good care of that.
Sorry, not our blood bead, our nectar. And right up here, you're gonna have another mistle that you can grab in front of the building. So this building is a dungeon that you'll do later on. This is a story dungeon, so you just kind of save it till the story takes you here. But here is the mistle. And I'm going to go ahead and rest at it so we can upgrade our healing. So we've gotten all of these new healing items. So we have 2 new hills, and then we can upgrade our regeneration count twice, and we can upgrade our recovery amount twice. So that's pretty big upgrades. And Honestly, like, extra healing might be all it takes to get you through a tough boss fight, you know? So here we are heading to the next map, Goblin. And there's some really funny stuff over here. This is the first area that if you're following my guide, you're going to run into, like, the cult. The cult is, they basically worship this doctor. And they're kind of weird. And anytime you see them praying, oh, it's not here, so it must be in the past. Anytime you see them praying, they summon a big monkey, like the one you saw when you first came into the city. And there's one of those big goblin tank things. What are they called? I don't know. So here we are at our next gold blood bead, and I'll show you where I am on the map. This is the final one in Sunken City. So here we have the map goblin we just got, and then right up here on the far corner, we've got our next blood bead. And this is also where you can find a Jadwiga vendor for the first time that sells one of the customer tokens. Now, this is one of the few vendors that does move. Like, it doesn't move, it's still here, but there's another location where you can find it, like, as you progress through the story. So it's not the end of the world, but I have enough for this exclusive to customer token. And this allows you to buy Tender Lightstone 1, which upgrades your unique weapons. And since I'm here, I might as well just buy a new Forma 2. Come again. And since I had the extra haze just laying around. Okay, so now where we're going to go. This is going to be kind of unnecessary stuff, but we've got this Pathos right here. We're not going to be able to get that Pathos right now, okay? That Pathos is, you have to go through this door right here to get that Pathos, and you have to fight one of those big tank goblins I was just talking about right here, and it's a boss. It's not the hardest fight in the world, but we haven't done any leveling since we came to Sunken City, so it's not going to be a boss that we're going to knock out right now. But what we are going to do is we're going to grab the mistle that's in front of it. So we're just going to head to my B map marker that I just laid down. And these buildings always are going to have, like, something in it if you want to drive through them. Like, not always something, but, like, if it's like that where it's just out in the middle of nowhere by itself, yeah, it's a pretty safe bet. Okay. So we will knock those dudes on the ground because it's funny. So here we're going to go around this cliff and down, and that is where we just came from. To our right is the power plant. So if you wanted to, you could have knocked out, you could have just teleported back to the power plant. And here's the next mistle that we're going to get. So like I said, to get this next Pathos, you need to go inside of here and you need to fight a boss. And it's not a boss that I'm comfortable at the level we're at right now to knock out. And then I actually missed the Nectar up there, and to get up there, that's a cliff, so we have to go back around up here. So you could have gotten that and then flown down here, but it's like not that big a deal. So we're gonna go back to the C's substation, which I guess is not, it's not called the power plant, but it is a power plant, I guess. Is there a difference between a power plant and a substation? I don't know. So here we go. And I want to say, that is not what I meant to do. Oh, sometimes I hit buttons and I don't even know why I hit that button. In my brain, I was trying to press the gas on my motorcycle. So right here, you're going to have a bunch of enemies. If you're in the past, you'll have a bunch of enemies right here. I guess right now it's just that one. And now we can grab this golden nectar, and it is being protected by this lady. And I have an enemy to my left that I did not notice. So there we go. So these enemies with the tentacles on their heads are honestly some of the harder enemies when you run across them. Like for where you're at in the game. Oh, I got too greedy. So if you want to, you can just I was playing kind of dumb right there. Okay, let's hit her with a bequeath forma. And that should be the end of her. Yeah, there we go. So there's some of the harder enemies you're going to run across, like especially early game in Sunken City. Okay, so what we've done is we have collected everything. We've activated every Pathos there is that isn't inside of a dungeon. And we've also gotten, I think, all of the mistles in this city, except for maybe a couple around here. And then there's like a mistle right here you can get, but that's for a mission you do later. And then up here, this is the undead village. So this isn't stuff that you can go up there right now if you want to, but we're not going to. And then if you take this path up a little bit, you'll actually find this is the start of the Corroded Scar. So what we've done today is we've opened the entire map for we've opened the entire map for Sunken City, if I can get my brain together. And we have also gotten all of the Pathoses we can and all of the golden beads that we can that are like not below ground. So this one's below ground. This one's below ground. This Pathos right here, you got to get through a pretty tough boss to get to. So, and that boss is right through here. So if you're ready, you can go fight that boss and then go through there, and easy peasy, you're out the other side. And this Pathos is actually on top of the building. So there's a bunch of enemies inside that if you fight, you won't get anything, but there's a ladder around the side that you can take to get up to the top to be able to get that. There's one more thing we're going to get before we get off today. And what that is there is a teleporter like right over here. So we're just going to kind of cruise over this way, which is a mistle. I'm going to go to the checkpoint ruins. We're just going to kind of cruise around there, get that mistle, and just explore the map a little bit more. And then to my left, there's actually a sniper up there right now, and that sniper is right beside a Forma. I really thought I'd be able to get out of there before she did anything.
Fight to the end.
I'm telling you, these Bell chicks are like the actual worst. If anybody has like a strategy for beating them relatively like easily, let me know. I've only fought 2 of them, and it was just kind of like a brain numbing amount of time just kind of beating it down. So over here to the left is a tower that if you go up to the lady that's blocking it, she'll say, oh, I can't let you in. And so this is something that you have to get access to later. So she'll say like, oh, I'll protect her, I won't let anybody in. And this has to do with some of the stuff later, but you won't be able to open this door down here. So she says she won't let you in, but you walk right past her. No problemo. And then, the door's just locked back there. And so from here, we're just going to kind of keep heading to my marker. And there is the mistle I was talking about.
Let's rest up.
And there is nothing stopping you from going down this path right now. And this path actually leads to the Undead City. So if you want to go through here and unlock this next area, you won't be able to go any further than the Plagued Village until you want to like follow the bond. But that is it in this city. That is going to wrap up this episode. That's a really good start to this city. If you are done with all of that, you're good to knock out the arcade, you're good to knock out this dungeon, and pretty much you're good to knock out the main temple and then travel back in time. And then here's a dungeon to knock out right here. Here's a story dungeon you'll knock out. You got this dungeon right here, which is, I would say, probably for closer to last. And then this isn't open yet. That's something that comes way later. And then you have the Sunken Pylon dungeon, which is another... this is the biggest dungeon in this area. So, but in the next episode, we are going to be knocking out dungeons, going back in time, and pretty much we should finish Sunken City in the next episode or the episode directly after that. As you can see, there's a mistle right there in that cave. So the actual last thing I'm going to do is just go in there just a little bit, just poke my head in and get that mistle. I'm surprised there's a mistle like right beside the one we just passed. But this is where you're going to start learning about the Doctor and the cult and stuff. The Doctor doesn't have a cult that follows her, but there is a different Doctor from the Resurgence that has a cult, and you'll learn more about her like right here. When you get this Pathos tells you her lore. I guess I can do one more thing before we get off. So if you go into your quest log and you go to your database, let's go down until we find the regional Pathoses. So these are really fun you can read kind of each pathos is a person's pathos, like it's their bond to this time. So, you know, but they all have like little stories that give you lore about the past. Some of them are happening at the Resurgence, and then some of them are actually happening in the Middle Ages. And so you get to kind of learn about the Middle Ages of this world where, you know, vampires, revenants, and humans kind of lived alongside each other. Vampires in secret. Then there was the secret vampire hunter organization. And then the Resurgence happened. And that's when it just, you know, most humans were wiped out and vampires kind of became the dominant species and kind of came out of hiding. So that's a really cool lore tidbit. Now, I do like the lore of the original game. But I also enjoy the lore of this game, so I'll get my feelings together on it at some other point. Anyways, that is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.